Hey there, Doc. Dr. Scott Doherty from Chiro Launch here, coming to you from historic River Street in downtown Savannah, Georgia. Savannah is actually a place I've been wanting to get to for a very long time. As much as I travel, it's just one place I've never been. Heard great things and finally got here. And unfortunately, I got to deal with this weather, but I'll be okay. Looking forward to enjoying dinner here at one of these restaurants after I'm done talking to you, but I want to share a little information with you. Lately, I've been getting asked a lot what my evaluations entail or what I'm looking for. You've probably seen a few of my marketing pieces. I say that I used to be called the Wolf. If any of you are Pulp Fiction fans, back when I owned 7 practices, all my docs called me the Wolf because I came in and I fixed stuff. And that's still something I do in my evaluations. And it's weird because my evaluations, everybody tells me, are very different from everybody else's. I'm not looking to add things, to give you a new marketing concept. Not that I don't have them. We have all those things. My evaluations are more about finding problems that are stopping you from growing, as opposed to pushing more stuff and creating that growth. We're looking to reduce drag, reduce friction. So I'm always looking for the problems, the things that are slowing you down. So the way I see it, there's 2 categories of things that I look for, that things could be slowing you down. One would be procedural problems, the other would be behavioral problems. Today I just want to talk about those procedural problems. Things that you should be looking for yourself. If you haven't called me, I haven't been to your office, then things that you should be looking for in your practice. Next video, wherever I might end up after this, we'll talk about those behavioral problems. But procedural problems break down into a few categories. First one I'd say, which I've talked about in previous videos, is scheduling. Not knowing how to schedule patients efficiently for your style of practice. And again, I can't give you the end-all be-all answer here because every practice is a little different, but you've got to obviously manufacture some speed in yourself and your staff and be able to process patients quickly, especially these days with the reimbursement rates being what they are. It's hard to make a living if you're not able to turn that over, if you will. So scheduling is very, very important. Obviously, we create that pace. Like I said, I've done videos on that, so just something for you to look at. Make sure that you can see as many patients as you're capable of seeing in the course of a day or a block. Number 2 thing I would talk about is getting paid. Too many doctors don't have very good procedures around collecting money, whether they're cash or insurance, doing the financial consultation with the patient, as well as just billing insurance properly if you are in that still billing insurances. So getting paid is pretty important for what we do. Obviously, we all love to serve, but if you don't get paid, you're not going to be in business very long. So those procedures are definitely hurting people these days, and sometimes it's just that the procedure is too bulky, too much. There's too many things to be done, so processing a patient gets to be a pain, and we don't even want more patients, kind of mentally in the back of our mind. So those procedures have to be clean and simple and effective as well. Next thing I'll talk about would obviously be retention. Your retention procedures have to be very, very good. And this is a place where I see it being drift a lot, meaning we used to have good patient retention. We used to do things right, and then we got to a point where we were full or happy or content, so we just stopped doing some of those things. And then we get to a point where the practice declines and we can't figure out why. But it's basically because we stopped doing the things that helped us to get there in the first place. So a lot of you know those retention things, you're just not doing them. If that's the case, get back to doing them. Another procedural problem would be staff motivation, compliance, which obviously could be a behavioral problem as well. But on the procedural side is that you don't hold them accountable. You don't have checklists in place. You don't have a reason for them to do the things that you want them to do. So you're not motivating them to be compliant and to really buy in. Again, the procedural stuff or the behavioral stuff sometimes is their own issue, which we'll have to talk about in the next video. The other thing the last thing I would talk about as far as things I look for is practice growth sequencing. Not doing the right thing at the right time. Too many docs are, victims of the next shiny object syndrome. They see something out there that's for sale and they want to grab it and they want to try this, but it's not the right time for it. There's really a sequence to practice growth that I've found that my action plans actually put it in sequence for all my clients. They say, do this first, and when you're done with this, do that. But practice growth sequencing is definitely a problem I see. We're doing too much stuff, but it's not the right stuff. If you're doing the right stuff, you just have to do 1 or 2 things. Keep it simple. Whereas if you're trying to do everything and it's not in order, we haven't laid the groundwork yet. We can't do the fun stuff, I guess, the marketing stuff, unless the groundwork's laid. So too many times we get into that procedural issue that we're getting ahead of ourselves. We haven't laid that groundwork. So look at your practice growth sequencing. Make sure you've laid that groundwork before you move on to the next fun, shiny object. So again, those are the procedural things I look for. next video, I guess I'll probably end up in Jacksonville, Florida, I think is my next stop. So I'll try to sit down there and do the behavioral things I look for. But hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, put them in the comments down below, and I'll look forward to talking to you on my next stop.